Kiwanis Club of Indianapolis monthly meeting. If we'd all please stand, we'll say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Go ahead and have a seat. This is from our member Greg Silver, the father today. He's ill today, so he can't be here. This is a short one. Kiwanis values are empathy, common decency, respect for all, and truth. In all times, truth. In all times we must lead and keep close. Plus, another one, spirit in place and key clubs. Keep our minds focused on good achievements. It is the only way. So thank you. I want to introduce our guest here today. New Lieutenant Governor, Ms. Sandy Lynch, is going to make an installation of our new officers. So Sandy, if you would come up, please.
Thank you. I never get applause for anything, so that's quite nice. I am so happy to be here. I love this club. And I think it's Mary who's been trying to talk me into joining this club as well as my club, which is Northwest Indianapolis, as long as I've known her. So one of these days, I'm going to say yes. Chuck Cotterman, Wendy Paddock, I may be saying that wrong, Paddock, and Greg Silver weren't able to attend today, so I'd like to invite the following to come to the room, come up to the front of the room. Roger Cummings, you're already here. Laura Holloway, Art Codruff, Steve Farrow, and Kelly Hollis. You can stand next to me. Oh, sure. The board of directors of the club is composed of you, the elected directors, and the officers. You'll set strategic direction, implement club policies, approve the club's budget, support committee activities, and oversee the administration of the club. Before I'm going to ask you if you'll accept these roles, I'd like for each of you, and I kind of do this with the other clubs too, and I kind of like it because it helps me get to know you all. Tell me what Kiwanis means to you. Doesn't have to be lengthy, but.
Well, Kiwanis means becoming engaged in the community and supporting the mission of the club and helping children in our community.
Say something similar. I think it's my connection back to the community, and especially the students that we get to work with and their leadership development. That means a lot to me, and something I hope to do for as long as I can.
Good.
I've belonged to Kiwanis for 20 years. I was first exposed to Kiwanis. Our company was involved with the building of the international headquarters for Kiwanis some 30, 40 years ago. And that's where I really got introduced. My chairman was a member, so I came to a lot of meetings at the athletic club. And shortly after that, I joined. So I love being a part of the community and helping children, being a part of the children's lives.
And see, you're my friend, and I know you, and I did not know that.
So, there you go.
The part
I'm
about
full of hidden surprises. Some you'll never hear.
So I received a Kiwanis scholarship when I was a senior in high school, so one of my favorite things is being able to invest in youth and work on a lot of our scholarship programs and see that college becomes like a reality for some of the young people in Indianapolis. It was not for this club, because I did not live here.
Okay. Well, thank you. Oh, I love hearing those little snippets of things and how you got involved in Someday I'll come back and tell you how I got involved. So now I know you will accept these roles with a desire to see that this club has the best year ever. Thank you for stepping up. It is my pleasure to formally reinstall each of you as a director of this club.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're on your own.
Shall I continue? Okay. Eric Rowland, please join me up front. Your club benefits from the immediate past president. I know, I also was.
We'll keep our finger crossed.
Yes. Continuing for one more year as a member of the board of directors. Your experience as club president this past year will empower you to be an essential mentor and colleague for your successor and a valued advisor on the business of the club. It is my pleasure to present to you your past president's pin.
Thank you.
And by doing so, to charge you with sharing your wisdom and lending a hand as you remain a member of the board for one more year. Congratulations to you on your excellent work and dedicated service this past year. We thank you for your continued dedication to your club.
Always glad to.
Jeff Otis, who I just met. I walked in the door at Kiwanis International and he literally greeted me coming down the stairs.
I do that for everybody.
That's what he said. As president, Jeff, you have been elected to the highest office your club can bestow upon you. It is an office of great honor and great responsibilities. I'm sure you already know that. The success of your club in this new year will depend upon your leadership at club and board meetings, and as you counsel and inspire your club's committees. In our community, you'll be the face of Kiwanis and your club. Guided by your club's vision, you and your board will set goals for improving your members' club experience and increasing the impact of your club's service in the community. Thank you for dedicating yourself to this leadership position. I hereby formally install you as the 112th president, wow, of the Kiwanis Club of Indianapolis. I did not know that. That's something. I sincerely hope that this will exceed your fondest expectations. Thanks to each and every one of you for stepping into your leadership roles, and for those of you here today who have previously served, including past presidents Don Steele, Mary Marsh, and Tom Eubank. Please let me know how I can support you in the year ahead, and I sincerely mean that. I'm going to give for everybody my card, has my cell number and my email, and you're most welcome to reach out to me anytime, day or night, and weekends. I literally mean that. Thank you.
Be dangerous.
Get right to it.
Everybody's making a
Tag, you're it. Thank you for coming today. Appreciate it. Thank you for stepping up and being Lieutenant Governor. Sounds like you are 100% engaged and ready to support the clubs in your division. Just truly, truly appreciate your engagement.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
As a reminder, we're at the Columbia Club on the third Thursdays. We'll have Chuck Lofton next month, Thursday, November 20th, and we'll meet again on December 18th. We're on Zoom on November 6th with Jeff Darren Muse, hiker, cancer fighter, and writer of Deer Park Ranger, Essays on Manhood, Restlessness, and the Geography of Hope. as well as November 13th and December 12th. December 11th, excuse me. Save the date for the Marion County High School football celebration, Thursday, December 4th at Colts Gridiron Hall. Committee Chair Chuck Cotterman welcomes any members who would like to select the recipients of the $2,500 scholarships. I've already signed up for bell ringing. You can find the link to sign up for slots at the top of the website. In addition to this, our foundation is also supporting the Salvation Army Angel Tree and Radiothon. Laura Holloway.
Well, thank you, everybody. We are graced with the presence of some amazing leaders here as well for Key Club International. We've got Nina Goldsmith, president of the Shortridge High School Key Club. Dylan Crosby, the lieutenant governor in our division here for Key Club. And our faculty advisor for Prairie Meridian High School, Melanie Gonzalez. These three individuals, along with two others, got grants to attend the Key Club International Convention this past July. And so with our support and help, they were able to further their leadership development. And they're here today to tell you a little bit about it. So I'd like to welcome you both to come on up and tell us a little bit about your experience and your favorite moments for the event.
Okay. Hi, like Laura said, I am the Lieutenant Governor of the Rose Division. My name is Dylan Crosby. I was very fortunate to go to ICON this year. At ICON, I did a lot. It was a week long. I heard from organizations who partner with Key Club, and I got to hear from Key Club alumni, and they both explained how Key Club has shaped their lives and how they've used Key Club to use that to impact other people. My favorite part overall was getting to meet everyone. I think like when you're there, you actually get to realize like I'm talking to people all over the world who are all in Key Club and all have a passion for service and like helping their community. So that was my favorite part overall. And I also got to like take what I learned at ICON and share it with my clubs. I got to go to workshops where I heard Key Club advice like from Key Club members, like high schoolers, and I got to learn like how to get passion in what you're leading and like how to become a servant leader. And I also got to, one of the service projects we did at ICON, which was making birthday like kits for children. We took that service project and we did it at my school club, and we donated it at like an impact center or like a food bank. So that's what we did.
Similar to Dylan, we did a lot during the week. We spent a couple of days at Disney World, which was really cool. We did some workshops. I attended a workshop about becoming like a lawyer in the future. So I got some advice from past KCI alumni, and that was really cool to just see and talk with them and get advice. And then also just going to workshops of people who are just in high school like us and getting advice from them was really cool. I liked getting to bond with people from the Indiana district more because I feel like at DLC it's kind of hard to really talk with people like one-on-one, but I really liked getting to bond with Dylan and everyone else who was there at ICON. I'm really grateful for you guys being able to sponsor us. I think it's great that more just like general members who aren't necessarily on the district level are able to go to ICON to get that experience and really see how like big and impactful Key Club is, and hopefully inspire them to do something on the larger level. Yeah, it was really great meeting everyone and getting to have that experience, so thank you guys.
Yes, thank you so much.
Our future is in great hands.
Can I speak from the chair?
Well,
Well, I'm just a high school advisor at Prairie Meridian, very close from here. And I really appreciate the opportunity for giving the kids that chance because sometimes I say seeing is believing, because once they lose the fear and they jump in the boat and they say, okay, I'm gonna go to this activity. I don't know what it's about. I have an idea, but they don't actually understand it until they experience that the agents of change are them. So they have all the qualities needed to be able to produce an impact not only in their communities, but as they grow older, how their attitude toward life and what they do is what is going to make an impact on their communities. And I believe that we need more kids going to this type of activities, and I love Kiwanis and Key Club, because if not, then I wouldn't be so sure when I'm old who's gonna be in charge of all of us. So thank you again, because you make them brave with your contributions, and you give them the courage that they need to move forward in life and doing the right thing and making good change. Thank you.
Melanie says she's just a high school advisor, outstanding advisor of the year, faculty advisor of the year here, so she's among the best, for sure. Well, it's my pleasure now to introduce Erin Kelley, our guest speaker. Here's a little bit about her. As a program director of the annual Spirit and Place Festival, Erin Kelley works with 100 or more community partners to design and host events. She also supports Spirit and Place's Powerful Conversations on Race series by serving as a certified civic reflection dialogue facilitator and trainer. She previously served as Director of Education and Community Engagement for the Indiana Historical Society. A native Hoosier, she completed her bachelor's degree in sociology and history from Ball State University, Chirps, okay, chirp. And her master's degree in public history at IUPUI. Go Hoosiers. Come on up. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me here today. I want to start off by actually just congratulating you, but everyone who has come back onto the board of directors. I see you. What not mentioned in there, I'm a longtime member of the League of Women Voters, and I have been involved with the league for about 20 years, and I've served on the board at the state and the local level, so I know it is no small thing to give your time and talent to a civic organization as a volunteer board member, so thank you for that, because I know what goes into it. And also to the young people who just spoke. Every once in a while, I teach a course on campus, professional development course for graduate students. I'm a little embarrassed I'm filmed here. You guys are leaps above some of them in terms of your willingness to jump into situations where you're not 100% sure what's going on, and then actually to publicly speak and make eye contact with everybody. Seriously, really good, and good job to you too for helping to bring these students up. So again, really pleased to be here today. I was reminded, Kelly, when you spoke, I think I got a Kiwanis scholarship when I graduated high school as well. I'd totally forgotten about that until you mentioned it.
They were only like $200.
Yeah, but you know what? I came from a working class family in Speedway, and like that $200 mattered. It made a big difference. So I love organizations like Kiwanis, League Women Voters, and others because we are so embedded in the community, right? I mean, that's why we exist, is to make community life better and stronger. That's part of why I found myself at Spirit and Place, because Spirit and Place is an organization that is committed to building and strengthening community life. These are not formal remarks, but I need something to keep me on track here. So I want to start off by telling you, giving you a little history of Spirit and Place, some insights into how we work and how we do things, talk a little bit about this year's festival, and then Kelly told me you guys like to keep it conversational, so then we'll just open it up and have a conversation, answer any questions you might have about Spirit and Place. All right, but Spirit and Place has been around since 1996. We are a legacy project of a grant that Lilly Endowment gave then IUPUI to look at the intersection of religion and urban life. And that grant led to articles and books and exhibits and community conversations and this capstone event that happened at Clues Hall that involved Kurt Vonnegut, John Updike, and Dan Wakefield. Three literary legends talking about how the places we're from influence and shape us, and how we in turn shape those places, spirit and place. So we've been around, again, for about 30 years. This is our 30th anniversary. And we strive to build and strengthen community using three very specific civic tools: arts, humanities, and religion. Now, we are grounded in the belief that the community is wise and creative, and while we do create some of our own events and community conversations, we are largely a platform and an amplifier for the community. So we support local artists and congregations and thinkers to design their own shared experiences, to design their own events, and then to showcase those events within the framework of the Spirit and Place Festival, and that happens every November. So we believe that when we thoughtfully design and create meaningful experiences for us to share, that we're really doing the work of democracy, right? We are creating those spaces where we come together as strangers and hopefully leave as neighbors, where we maybe don't agree on everything under the sun, but we can find those avenues of commonality and connection, and we can work towards something bigger than ourselves. And that's really what Spirit and Place is all about. It's about bringing us together. Again, not always agreeing with each other, but understanding that there are some things in life that are bigger than our individual selves, and we are better served when we understand we're all in this together and we can work on things together. So how does Spirit Place go about doing all of this? Well, we create and support year-round programming. However, we are primarily known for that November Festival of Events, and thank you for whoever just distributed those all over the room. That's our calendar. There are some things about the festival that make us truly unique, though. As far as we know, we are the only arts, humanities, and religion festival in the world. There are plenty of arts festivals. Think about Penrod and the Broad Ripple Arts Fair. Even religion festivals. Every September, the Center for Interfaith Cooperation does a lovely event at the War Memorial called the Festival of Faiths. And there are various humanities festivals. Chicago has a huge humanities festival, and even Indiana Humanities here locally. They're wrapping up some programming right now around the written word and authors. So we've got lots of distinct festivals in those categories. We're the only one that invites both event creators and the public to bring their whole selves to the table. Now, that doesn't mean that every event in the festival utilizes arts, humanities, and religion, but in the overall 11 days of events, you're gonna find things that touch on or use all of those different civic tools. And they are, we believe, civic tools, right? Because they're things we all share in common. Whether or not you think you are artistic or not, art shapes your life. Who would have made it through the pandemic if we didn't have movies, TV, and music and books, okay? And even if you're not someone who's into music, TV, music, and books, everything you see around you in this room was designed by someone, either by a graphic designer, by an architect, by an artist in some way. Art is a part of all of our lives. Same thing with the humanities. Whether you find yourself to be a humanities nerd, someone who loves history and literature and anthropology and things like that, humanities are a part of our daily life. I mean, you better believe political science and economics are shaping your life right now, and those do kind of fall into that humanities bucket. And the same thing with religion. Whether we're religious or not, spiritual or not, religion, spirituality shapes a community's life, particularly in a pluralistic society like the United States is, where we're supposed to have freedom of religion and mix with those who have different faith practices than our own. So again, we invite all of that into our festival. And the other thing that makes Spirit and Place quite unique and really challenging for people to understand is that we don't create the events, right? So I'm the program director, and I do work with others to create the opening event of the festival and the closing event of the festival, and a few other signature events that happen throughout the year. But the majority of events that you will find in the Spirit and Place Festival every year, and for the past 30 years, are created by the community. So what does that mean? It means that we are talking about events that are created by congregations, museums, libraries, universities, community centers, but then also independent scholars and musicians and artists. So again, except for that opening and closing event, what you see in the festival is an expression of Central Indiana's commitment to giving back and to creating these shared experiences where we can come together. And that is, like I said, oftentimes the hardest part of Spirit and Place for folks to understand, because I'm standing up here telling you, like, I don't have ultimate control over the creation, the content, or the execution of these events. And that, for some people, is kind of a scary thing. I love it. I mean, I see Spirit and Place as an exercise in radical community trust. And we've been around for 30 years, so it works. There's a lot about this world that can be scary, but there are a lot of things about this world that aren't so scary. And sometimes trusting others and going into a relationship where you're talking about your shared values is a great way to build that trust. And Spirit in Place is an exercise in radical trust, where we're very transparent with our partners about what Spirit in Place's values are, and that we hope the festival will tackle the yearly theme, have a different theme every year, use our civic tools, arts, humanities, and religion, be collaborative, but then also embody Spirit in Place's values. And I think you see that come forth in the festival every year. Now again, though, we do have guidelines, like I just mentioned that. All the events in the festival connect to the theme, use the arts, humanities, and religion, are collaborative, create communal spaces for us to come together. We do have an application process, so every spring you can apply. And I literally mean you, okay? Like Kiwanis Club could apply, or an individual in this room could apply. The whole idea of their application process is every year there's a different theme. You pitch an idea for an event and how you're going to use the arts, humanities, or religion to bring that event to life. And you do need to find at least one collaborating partner, because we very much believe that we are better off when we work together, when we leave our silos and we work with others. Now I will mention, in all seriousness, next year's theme is connections. And we chose connection as our theme because next year is also the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I cannot pronounce it, and someone can help me. The semi-quincentennial. Bicentennial rolled off the tongue. The 250 doesn't. So a lot of America 250. Next year is America 250. We chose connection as our theme because we do surveys a lot with the community, and we were asking the community for America 250, what kind of theme should Spirit in Place embrace? You know, should we be direct and literal and choose a theme like liberty or freedom or equality? And the feedback we got back was mixed. But what the common thread, though, throughout all of the feedback was this idea of connection, that our communities need to feel connected, that for this democracy to work, we need to feel connected to each other. So we chose connections as our theme. And as I started, I absolutely believe that civic organizations like Kiwanis Club and others play a vital role in American democracy. This whole thing doesn't work unless we're willing to sit down with people that we haven't met before and are willing to talk with them and build relationships and understand each other. Again, not always agree, but understand where we're coming from. So I do hope, I was not invited here to plug this, but I do hope that civic organizations will consider having a cup of coffee with me to talk more about Spirit in Place and to think about events in the festival. Because I also think that organizations like Kiwanis, you guys play a vital role in confronting the epidemic of isolation that people, and loneliness that exists in this country, this idea, this separation. You create spaces for people to share a meal together, to celebrate the achievements of young people, and to come together to work towards a collective good, right? That's connections. That's the connections theme. I'm always happy to talk to people about how you might want to turn that into an event or just learn more about Spirit in Place. Like I said, though, next year's theme is connection. This year's theme is nature. Our festival will take place from November 6th through 16. We are a Central Indiana festival. I should have mentioned this earlier. We're housed on the campus of IU Indianapolis, but we are a Central Indiana festival. So that means this year, festival's different every year. It's usually between 30 to 35 events. Every year, it's different because it's 11 days of independently created events. So that means each event is not only different from each other, but it's at a different venue, it's at a different part of town, and this year it's spread across 6 counties. So most of the events are in Marion County, but we have events in Hamilton, Boone, Johnson, Putnam, and even up in Madison County. There will be a nature journaling workshop taking place at Mound State Park this year. So we're all over the place. We can also use volunteers if anybody's interested in that. We try to send volunteers to all of these events just to help greet people, hand out event guides, collect evaluations, and then just otherwise, help make sure that everybody understands they're actually at a Spirit in Place Festival event. But those events, again, will take place from November 6th through 16. They are all connected to the theme of nature, but you can see that each of the events are interpreted in a different way, right? A lot of the events are, yes, environmental focused. We've got a lot of really great outdoor events taking place this year. We have some events that are focused on environmental justice, but we also have events that explore the nature of something. There's one event in there that's the nature of sacred text and how different interpretations of sacred text influence the way we think about religion. There's the education director from Congregation Beth El Zedek and the pastor from Northminster Presbyterian Church are working on that event together. So we've got some really interesting interpretations of the theme too, and that's always fun for me to see how people will take a theme and sometimes just go off in a kind of a direction that I didn't think of, but I think that's really quite wonderful and creative. We also, this year, we're opening up the festival with our public conversation. That's what we always call our signature event in the festival. This year's public conversation will be on Thursday, November 6th. It is a communal watch party. Our keynote speaker is a woman named Catherine Hayhoe. She's a climate scientist, and she's the chief scientist for the Nature Conservancy. She's also an evangelical Christian, and what she talks about is not only the climate science, but she talks about the importance of talking about climate change and how it's important to bridge divides and bridge understanding. So she's going to give a virtual presentation because she doesn't travel much in order to offset her carbon footprint. But we're going to gather at the Indianapolis Hebrew congregation. There's going to be some food, some info tables from some of our partners. We're going to watch Catherine's presentation together. And then at the end of that, a woman named Krista Longton, who is joint faculty in the IU School of Liberal Arts Communication Program and the medical school, her specialty is bridging conversation between faith and science, is going to lead those who are assembled through some improv strategies on how to improve your communication skills. That's really something that's very important to us at Spirit Place when we create and design these events. We hope you're going to come to something and you're going to hear something that's going to be really amazing and you're going to have a great time, but we also hope you're going to leave with some skills, right? Like the ability to go out and do something. So if we're inviting in a climate scientist to talk about the importance of talking about climate science, so at the end of it, we're hopefully going to give you some tools that you can use to help you in your communication efforts about climate science or anything else. So that is Spirit in Place. We are this wacky little thing that exists on IU's campus. Trust me when I say they don't entirely know what to do with us sometimes. Because I'm not faculty, we don't teach. Everything we do is community focused. But we really do believe that the arts, humanities, and religion, the liberal arts, are powerful tools that can help us find connection and find ways to one another in order to tackle the challenges our communities face, and to do so with the ability to see each other's humanity in that process. So, I will open it up. Does anybody have any questions about? Yes, please, yeah.
Could you comment on the program on Friday, November 14th? Because this is very intriguing because I'm holding a calendar right now for your festival. Fear, mercy, and the nature of peace.
Yeah, so that one is being put together by a woman named Natalie Pipkin, who is the owner of a mobile bookstore that I think largely works with she's out in neighborhoods, largely working in African American neighborhoods, but the event itself, she loves the poem "The Allowables" by Nikki Giovanni, and there's another poem by another poet that she loves. So that event is about the nature of fear and mercy. It's about, she's using these poems to talk about how we as humans tend to gravitate towards fear. When we are confronted with people or ideas or situations that we don't fully understand, we become fearful, but the next step out of that is to show mercy to ourselves and to others. So using that poem, and Deborah Asante, who is a storyteller and creative here in town, they're gonna be leading some facilitated conversations and poetry readings and creative exercises around this idea of human nature and how it is in our nature to be fearful. It is, but it is also in our nature to overcome that through mercy. That's one of those events that is not an on-the-nose nature connection, but it's there. They've just taken it in a unique direction.
And if I'm reading this correctly, are all of those under November 14th are at the Athenaeum?
No, each event has a different venue. So I think the Fear, Mercy,
Oh, I see.
yeah. So
1,000 words again.
yeah, that one's at 1,000 Words Gallery. Now the event at the Athenaeum is quite unique. That is REACT. They used to be the Young Actors Theater. They're working with Earth Charter Indiana and some other groups. That is actually a youth-created event where the youth of REACT, formerly Young Actors Theater, have created a new play about eco-anxiety and their concerns as a younger generation about climate change. But I love the fact that we've got, a new play that has been created for the Spirit in Place Festival by young people. There's another event in the festival, I'm blanking on the title. It's another youth-created event by an organization called C-Scope, and they're gonna have a community conversation in Martindale-Brightwood the first weekend of the festival, and then the second weekend of the festival, those youth are leading a river cleanup around Fall Creek. So yeah, really excited to have a couple very strong, very powerful youth-created events in the festival this year.
I have a simple question.
Yeah.
Is there a cost to your these?
That is a great question. Most of the events are free. We prefer free events. When you apply, we really do encourage event creators to keep the events free or low cost. I think there's only one event in the festival this year that has a fee, but that event is called 12 Winds of Heaven. Man, it involves poetry and jazz and like these food samplings that kind of talk about the history of the Great Migration, and it's paired with jazz and poetry and food samples from the South. So like I understand why that one has a ticket charge. But most of the events are free. Yeah. Not always, and it varies from year to year, but we ask the community to try to keep the events free or low cost. It does not cost event creators to be in the festival. I came on with Spirit Place about 10 years ago, and that's one of the things that I helped change, because it used to be you'd apply to be in the festival and then you give us money to be in the festival. That's how we generated revenue, but that model worked in the late 90s, early 2000s, but it's just not working now, particularly when we have so many smaller and independent artists and creatives in there. So now actually we've turned the model around, and if your event is selected for the festival, it's not much, but you get a $200 stipend to help with the cost of your event.
Well, follow that, where do you get your funding?
Thank you. We should mention our funder. We are still largely funded by Lilly Endowment, the religion division. So they help support most of the programming costs for the festival. IU, actually, just this past year, picked up our salaries. Last year, picked up our salaries. So up until last year, we actually had to fundraise for our salaries too. So there's a little stability there. That's kind of nice now. But Lilly Endowment Religion Division has been a consistent funder of Spirit in Place for 30 years, and we are just so grateful to them, to their belief and their commitment to keeping this going.
They have a religion division?
They do. So the Lilly Endowment actually has 3 different divisions, and one of them is, I think it's a joint community engagement religion division, yeah. They're actually major funders of the new Smithsonian, the African American Smithsonian Museum, that has a fairly strong, I don't know if it's just one exhibit or woven throughout, but a religious theme through it. Yeah, yeah.
In all your 30 years, I don't know how long you've been involved with it, but has there been one event that's been there that surprised you, or is the most memorable that you can think of?
You know, that's hard to answer. I've been with Spirit Place 10 years, and prior to that, actually I started off, my public history career started off as an intern with the Indiana Historical Society. One of the first tasks I was given was to help create a Spirit in Place festival event back around 2000, 2001 or so. So it's really, I can't pick a favorite one or most memorable, in part because every year I really am very fortunate to be able to work with 80 to 100 community partners a year, helping them on these events, and I become so invested in them myself. It feels wrong to call out a favorite sort of thing. But I am always surprised every year, both during the spring application period, at the level of creativity that exists, and the people come up with interpretations of our themes that I just never in a million years would have guessed. Like they shy. Spiders and fear and mercy around nature. Like I wouldn't have guessed that one, but it's pretty unique and pretty cool, right? And then there are always events that happen in the festival that just manage to delight me to no end, because we have events in the festival, some of which are created by large anchor institutions with endowments themselves, paid programming staff whose job it is to create events throughout the year. And then we have events that are done by volunteers who have never put on an event before. And some of those can just be the most amazing. So one of those, that got me around to one of those was an event in 2016. It was our home year, Indiana's bicentennial, so we chose home as the theme in 2016. It's this little church called Ebenezer Baptist Church, and it was their 50th anniversary. They wanted to do an event celebrating, they were in Riverside. They wanted to do an event celebrating their past, but acknowledging that they're still here today and that they want to be in that community in the future. They created an event where you walked into the church and you went downstairs, and they created a pop-up museum where they invited congregants to bring in memorabilia from the church. So old photographs, newspaper clippings, some of the hats that the ladies used to wear back in the day kind of thing. Had all of these on display, and then they invited some of the elders from the congregation to be there and just to share stories, not only about the church, but about the Riverside neighborhood, and their high school memories and their neighborhood memories. So you'd spend a little time in the basement, and then every so often, every 15, 20 minutes or something, you were invited up to the sanctuary, where there was sort of like a recreated 1960s church service. So it's a really dynamic black church, and there was just like great music, and the pastor came up and just sort of gave just a lovely like little invocation, you know, to welcome everybody there. Then when that was done, you went outside, and they had contracted some buses to drive folks a few blocks deeper into Riverside, where they were working to buy homes that had been abandoned and to rehab those and to make them into affordable housing for people in the neighborhood. So the event was called Riverside Speaks Past, Present, and Future. That was entirely volunteer driven. That was a small church in the Riverside neighborhood wanting to celebrate their role in the community, and it was such a privilege to actually have for the festival to be a platform for them to do that. But you want to talk about an event with lots of layers, lots of logistical details, moving people around. It was spectacular. It was really great. Yes.
I have a question, I guess. I noticed people's contact information is on here. Is that where you would recommend we go? I just have kind of some questions, like, should I expect to stay for the whole event? I noticed the timing, like some are a couple hours, some are several hours.
Yeah, all right, so the best thing to do is go to spiritandplace.org, and to go to our website, go to the event calendar. There is more information about all of the events on the event calendar. Many of the events that if there are events in there that look like they're 3-4 hours, a lot of them are come and go style. Or once you go to the website, you'll see, like, Hoosier Environmental Council is doing something called Indiana Wetland Wonders. The first hour is actually optional. It's a tour of the Eco Lab facility at Marion University, and then there's like an hour and a half reception panel conversation, and the doors are just open an extra hour because there'll be a photo exhibit. So I hear you there about, that's 4 hours, that's a commitment. Yeah. That's one of my jobs as the program director, as I'm working with folks and trying to help coach them, is to try to help them understand 4-hour events do not jump out to people. But a lot of them, we've got some really great family-friendly events in there too, and those are like 3 or 4 hours long, and those are definitely more come and go style. But yeah, check out the website, spiritandplace.org. You're welcome to contact me. All the phone number listed in there, and the festival at IU email address, that all comes to me. I'm happy to answer any questions I can about events, or you can reach out to the event organizers themselves, because it's tricky. It's an independently created event, so some of the nitty-gritty questions you may have about events, I may have to direct you to the event organizer, because I'm only so far into the weeds with them.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
You must have a huge network.
Yeah. I do. You know, I'm lucky. I worked for the Indiana Historical Society for 10 years as their program director and community engagement person. So I built a network there, and then through the League of Women Voters, have gotten to know people. I, for a brief while, did some contract work before I landed at Spirit and Place. But yeah, particularly for the young people, going to those conferences and meeting people that you've never met before and staying in contact. My best advice in that kind of situation is never go into it with like a set agenda of I'm going to get this out of them. I'm a big believer in the idea of emergence, that if you invest time in people, if you invest time in nurturing relationships rather than just transactional sort of endeavors, things will unfold for you. They will emerge at their own pace, but they will emerge if you're dedicated to being real with people and just keeping communication and relationships going. So when it comes to my network, it's that. I mean, I meet people all the time, and it may not be that, 3, 5, 8 years later that it turns into an opportunity for us to work together or support each other in some way. But that's okay. When the time is right, it'll happen. Forcing things is where you tend to get into problems, I think.
Any other questions for Erin?
Thank you again, everybody.
Erin, appreciate you coming out and giving us a little bit of your afternoon. The Kiwanis Foundation of Indianapolis will be making a donation in your honor to the foundation, A Kid Again. They bring hope and happiness through cost-free ventures where children with life-threatening conditions and their families laugh, connect, and feel normal again. So thank you again for coming. Key Clubbers, appreciate you coming. Like that you represent with your sweatshirt, and I love your Doc Martens. But thank you for coming. With that, we are adjourned. See you next meeting.